Hello friends, welcome back to Legend's Voice. Dear friends, imagine a woman who lived over 1,000 years ago and built something so powerful that it is still changing lives today. This is the incredible story of Fatima al Fihri, the founder of the University of Al Quaraouiyine and one of the most influential women in history. Fatima al Fihri, the woman who built the world's oldest university, a legacy that still teaches the world. More than 1,000 years ago, in a time when kings fought for power and empires rose and fell, a remarkable woman quietly created something that would outlive them all. Her name was Fatima al Fihri, and her vision gave birth to what is recognized by UNESCO and the Guinness World Records as the oldest continuously operating university in the world, the University of Al Quaraouiyine. Her story is not one of military conquest or political power. It is the story of faith, generosity, determination, and a dream so powerful that it continues to educate people over a millennium later. This is the life story of Fatima al Fihri from her birth to her final days. A child born into opportunity, Fatima al Fihri was born around 800 CE in the city of Kairouan, located in present-day Tunisia. At that time, Kairouan was one of the most important cities in the Muslim world. It was a center of trade, culture, religion, and learning. Scholars traveled there to study, merchants arrived from distant lands, and ideas flowed through its busy streets. Fatima was born into a respected and wealthy family. Her father, Muhammad al Fihri, was a successful merchant. He was known not only for his business skills but also for his devotion to Islam and his love of education. Enjoying this legendary story? Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and comment to support Legend's Voice and help us bring more inspiring historical stories to life. Education. Unlike many families of the era, Muhammad believed that knowledge was valuable for everyone. He encouraged his daughters to learn and develop their understanding of religion and society. Fatima grew up alongside her sister, Maryam al Fihri. The two sisters shared a close bond and developed a deep appreciation for education, charity, and faith. Even as a young girl, Fatima displayed intelligence, curiosity, and a thoughtful personality. While other children played in the streets, she often listened to discussions about religion, trade, and scholarship. No one could have imagined that this young girl would one day change the history of education forever. A journey to a new land. As Fatima grew older, major changes began affecting North Africa. Economic opportunities were expanding in Morocco, especially in the city of Fez. Fez was becoming one of the most important urban centers of the Muslim world. Seeking a better future, Fatima's family decided to migrate from Kairouan to Fez. The journey was long and difficult. Traveling across vast distances during the 9th century was far from easy. Roads were dangerous and transportation was slow. Yet the family persevered. When they arrived in Fez, they found a city full of energy and diversity. People from different regions, languages, and cultures lived side by side. Many immigrants from Kairouan had settled there, creating a community known as the Quaraouiyine, meaning the people of Kairouan. Fatima adapted to her new home and continued her education. She learned about religion, law, literature, and community leadership. Fez would eventually become the place where her life's mission unfolded. The pain of loss. Life often tests people before revealing their true purpose. For Fatima, those tests came through heartbreaking loss. First, her father passed away. His death deeply affected her. He had been her mentor, guide, and greatest supporter. Not long afterward, Fatima also lost her husband. The grief was immense. Within a relatively short period, she experienced the every like, subscribe, follow, and comment helps us uncover more incredible stories of the world's greatest legends. The loss of the two most important men in her life. Many people would have been crushed by such sorrow, but Fatima responded differently. She turned to faith, she prayed, reflected, and searched for a way to transform her pain into something meaningful. After the deaths of her father and husband, Fatima inherited a considerable fortune. Suddenly, she possessed wealth that could provide her with a life of comfort and luxury. Yet, luxury was not what she desired. She wanted to leave behind something that would benefit people long after she was gone. This decision would define her place in history. Seeing a need as Fez continued growing, more people arrived from different regions. The city was thriving, but there was a problem. The population had increased so rapidly that existing places of worship and learning could no longer serve everyone effectively. Fatima noticed that many people desired education. Scholars needed space to teach, students needed places to study, and communities needed centers for intellectual growth. She saw a need and decided to act. Instead of spending her inheritance on herself, she chose to invest it in society. This was an extraordinary decision in an era when very few people, especially women, had opportunities to lead large public projects. Fatima envisioned creating a center of learning that would serve generations to come. She believed that knowledge was one of the greatest gifts a person could give humanity. The dream becomes reality. Your support keeps these amazing stories alive. Like, subscribe, follow, and comment to become part of the Legends Voice community. In 859 CE, Fatima began construction of what would become the Al Quaraouiyine Mosque in Fez. But this was not intended to be merely a mosque. From the beginning, it was designed as a place where worship and education would exist side by side. Historical accounts describe Fatima's dedication to the project. Some traditions state that she personally supervised the construction and even fasted throughout the building process as an act of devotion and gratitude. Whether every detail of these accounts can be verified or not, there is no doubt that she was deeply committed to the project. Every stone represented hope. Every wall represented opportunity. Every room represented the future. She carefully ensured that the structure was built to serve the community for generations. Months of planning and labor eventually produced a beautiful institution unlike anything the city had seen before. The mosque opened its doors, but its greatest impact was still yet to come. The birth of a university. As years passed, scholars gathered at Al Quaraouiyine. Students traveled from distant regions to learn there. Classes expanded beyond religious studies. Subjects such as mathematics, astronomy, medicine, grammar, philosophy, geography, law were taught and discussed. What began as a mosque evolved into one of the most influential educational institutions in human history. Eventually, it became recognized as a join thousands of history lovers by hitting like, subscribe, follow, and comment to never miss a legendary story. University. At a time when much of the world lacked organized higher education, Al Quaraouiyine became a beacon of knowledge. Its reputation spread across North Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. Students crossed deserts and seas to study within its walls. Fatima's vision had succeeded beyond imagination. She had not simply built a building, she had created a place where minds could grow, influencing the world. The influence of Al Quaraouiyine reached far beyond Morocco. Over the centuries, many famous scholars studied or taught there. The institution contributed to the preservation and expansion of knowledge during periods when education was limited in many parts of the world. Historians often note that educational traditions developed in major Islamic centers like Al Quaraouiyine helped inspire later institutions in Europe. Its libraries housed valuable manuscripts. Its scholars produced important works. Its classrooms shaped generations of thinkers. Perhaps the most astonishing part of the story is this. More than 1,100 years after Fatima laid its foundation, the university continues operating today. Empires disappeared, dynasties collapsed, borders changed, yet her institution survived. Very few people in history can claim that their work continued serving humanity for over a millennium. Fatima al Fihri can. The woman behind the achievement. What made Fatima truly extraordinary was not her wealth. Many wealthy people have existed throughout history. Most are forgotten. What made Fatima different was how she used her resources. She understood a timeless truth. Money eventually disappears. Buildings eventually. If you're learning something new today, show your support with a quick like, subscribe, follow, and comment below. Eventually age. Power eventually fades. But knowledge can continue changing lives forever. She invested in education because she believed educated people could improve society. She demonstrated leadership without seeking fame. She created impact without seeking political power. She gave opportunities to countless people she would never meet. This quiet form of greatness is often the most powerful. Her final years, historical records about Fatima's later years are limited. Like many figures from the 9th century, detailed documentation is scarce. However, historians believe she spent her remaining years witnessing the growth and success of the institution she had founded. Imagine the satisfaction she must have felt. Students filling classrooms, scholars sharing knowledge, families benefiting from education, a thriving community gathering in the place she had built. The dream that once existed only in her heart had become reality. For Fatima, this was likely a source of immense peace and gratitude. Death and an immortal legacy, Fatima al Fihri eventually passed away, likely sometime during the late 9th century. Her death marked the end of her earthly life, but it did not mark the end of her influence. In fact, her true legacy was only beginning. Generation after generation continued studying at Quaraouiyine. Hundreds of years became 1,000 years. The institution remained active. Students continued learning. Teachers continued teaching. Knowledge continued spreading. Today, when people speak about the oldest continuously operating university in the world, they remember the woman who made it possible. A woman who transformed personal tragedy into public service. A woman who turned wealth into wisdom. A woman who chose education over luxury. A woman whose vision outlived kings, rulers, and empires. Conclusion. The story of Fatima al Fihri reminds us that greatness is not measured by how much we possess, but by how much we contribute to others. She was not a conqueror. She was not a queen. She commanded no army, yet her impact on human civilization remains extraordinary. From a young girl in Kairouan to the founder of the world's oldest university, Fatima al Fihri proved that one person's vision can change the course of history. More than 11 centuries later, students still walk through the doors of the institution she founded. And every lesson taught, there is a living reminder of a remarkable woman whose gift to the world was knowledge. Fatima al Fihri died over 1,000 years ago, but her dream is still alive today. Fatima al Fihri's story reminds us that true greatness is not measured by wealth or power, but by the lasting impact we leave on humanity. More than 1,100 years later, her vision continues to inspire millions through the gift of education. Thank you for watching Legend's Voice. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and comment below. Let us know which legendary historical figure you'd like to see next. See you in the next inspiring journey.